Update 8 on Typhoon Haiyan, which is currently located not too far from the entrance to the Gulf of Tonkin in between Hainan in China and the Vietnamese coast, with wind speeds of 100 miles per hour, gusting to 120 miles per hour, with a pressure of 959 millibars. Current position 16.3 degrees north, 110.2 degrees east. As of 2 AM UTC, November the 10th, the storm is expected to move towards the northwest, weakening along the way as it interacts with land and then eventually making landfall in Vietnam as a tropical storm as it moves towards the north, moving inland, and then by the 72-hour mark it will probably be dissipating as a tropical depression inland over China, but it possibly will cause some heavy rain over this area, northern Vietnam, southern China, and we could possibly see some flooding occurring here. Strong winds will probably not be the main concern as they were in the Philippines, but we will possibly still see some typhoon force winds along the southern fringes of Hainan and possibly along the coast of Vietnam. Certainly gusts to that intensity could be a possibility over there. But tropical storm force winds still to be expected, and that's still fairly significant in itself. So we have typhoon conditions possible in Vietnam over the next few days. That's the red outline there. The orange area is orange typhoon warnings, which are currently in effect for southern China right now. That's all that's going on at the moment in terms of official warnings that are in effect. But as you can see, still a category 2 storm with 100 mile per hour winds right now, and we could certainly see some typhoon conditions occurring along some stretches of coastline there as the storm progresses towards the northwest. We'll obviously have to see how it goes over the next 12 to 24 hours, how quickly it weakens, but certainly be on your guard over there for possibly typhoon conditions over the next 12 to 24 hours at least. So sea surface temperatures are bordering on marginal now, only 26 to 27 degrees Celsius, still enough to support a tropical cyclone but not a strong one, and we'll probably see continued weakening, but that's mainly due to land interaction as well as fading sea surface temperatures. The CMC forecast model then shows a new storm forming as it passes through the southern Philippines, though not really developing until it passes over Palawan, but it obviously could cause some heavy rain over the region that's already been hit by Haiyan, and a new storm forming in the Indian Ocean as well. The GFS has something fairly similar, I believe, with a storm possibly a bit further north actually, in the wake of Haiyan. There it is, moving through the Philippines, pretty much the same track that Haiyan took through that region, though obviously much weaker, possibly a tropical storm as it moves towards the west-northwest and makes landfall in Vietnam eventually. So we'll obviously be tracking that one. That is Invest 90W, which we'll see on the map very shortly. So here's the current satellite imagery of Haiyan in the past few hours as it moves towards the northwest. You can see it's quite a bit more disorganized than what we've seen it as when it was moving through the Philippines, but still it's a strong storm with that core, the central core there, with the strongest of the weather towards the south of the storm, where the heaviest of the rain is occurring, and assumedly the most strongest winds. But all around that storm there we could be seeing typhoon force winds and certainly typhoon force gusts. The central core of the storm is not too far from the southern coast of Hainan, with the spiral bands extending all around, covering the southern coast of China into Vietnam as well already, with some heavy rain occurring there. So as of November the 10th at 2 AM UTC, this is the current tropic situation. Tropical Storm 3A in the Arabian Sea, not too far from the coast of Somalia. An update on that tomorrow quite possibly. Haiyan, a category 2 typhoon of course, moving into the Gulf of Tonkin, and Invest 90W, which is located, not marked here on the Pacific Ocean overview, just towards the east-southeast of the Philippines, not too far from the equator right now. There you can see the centre of the storm near that black line, which signifies the equator at the very bottom of the screen there, north of Papua New Guinea. So 2013 compared, 27 storms so far, depending whose totals you go by. The 29th busiest season on record, with 15 typhoons, 10 of which reaching category 3 intensity or higher, 115 miles per hour or above, Haiyan being the latest of which to do so. In the company of 1984 just above, 1982 just below, and a few other seasons from the 20th century just above those ones as well. You can track this storm at the website force13.com/stormtracking.html. That's the main page for all the storm tracking information, including other storms out there worldwide, including Tropical Storm 3A and the Invest 90W, and any future storms that form. You can also find us elsewhere on the web, Facebook and Twitter. To search Force 13 on either of those mediums. You should find us fairly easily enough. As always, please do show your support by doing the usual means of engagement, liking, subscribing, commenting, favoriting, or following, or indeed anything else that you can think of. And if you have any questions or comments, you can do so by sending in a private message or using one of these mediums, or by sending in a contact form on the website force13.com. Just go to the contact page if you have a question for me, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. The next video update on this storm Haiyan will follow at around 8:30 PM UTC on Sunday the 10th of November, but until then, that's all for now.